Hi, so what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to put together a video which shows how facial hair affects the fit of a respirator or a face covering. I think when I show you what I've got here, most of you know what my feelings are on some of the products that are here. Certainly those that know me well will. But I'm not going to tell you how good or bad they are. What we're going to do is we're going to let this little kitty do that for us. So this is my port count machine. What's a port count machine? For those of you that don't know, it's a method of face fit testing. I'm not doing a face fit test today, okay? Let me be really clear on that. I'm going to be using this on what's called real time. So as what the name implies, it gives you feedback in real time as to how well the mask is sealing and fitting to the face. And it does that by measuring the ambient atmosphere and the amount of particles that are in the ambient atmosphere. And then it measures the particles that are inside the mask once it's fitted to your face. And it gives you a ratio. So it gives you what's called a fit factor. Now, the minimum pass mark is 100 when you look at these. So just remember that when I'm showing you the graph, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut together a video. I'm not Quentin Tarantino behind the camera, no more than I'm Tom Hardy in front of it. But maybe with the mask on, I might look a little like Bane in some of the scenes. But what I'll cut together here is a video that will show me with the individual masks on, and then the machine itself showing you how well that mask is fitting me. It may possibly fit somebody else better, but this is how it works for me with these particular products. So which ones are we going to be looking at? Well, let's give you a kind of a scoot there along the table, and we'll go on to these individually. So we've got our friend the surgical mask there, and then we've got our friend the KN95, and then we've got our friend pitter mask, or a commuter mask as is often called. So they're the non-RPE products, okay? We'll see how they hold up. I've not done this before, so we'll see. I mean, you know, you never know. Maybe they might be okay, but we'll let the machine tell us. Then we'll move on to some RPE. So I've got a relatively freely available FFP2 product there, which is a cup shape with no valve on it. And we've then got a fold flat FFP2, again with no valve on it. We've then got an FFP3, typical FFP3, no valve on it. We have one of these 28-day masks, or semi-disposable. Now, why are they called that? Well, because you can't maintain them. Or at least there's no parts you can change, so consequently you can't maintain them. And it's a requirement when you're using a reusable respirator that it gets looked at and maintained at least once every 28 days or once a month. This is accepted from the HSE. So although sometimes people will tell you can use these for longer than 28 days, unless you can maintain them, you can't. And then we'll look at a proper respirator in the form of an SR900. Now this has got a removable, replaceable, in this case, particle filter. Could have a gas filter, could have both on, but a different type of respirator. So, you know, a fairly good range there. Now, I'm really sorry to do this, but I've got to do a close-up of my mooey, just so as you can see my facial hair. So I've got a couple of days worth of stubble here. So first up is this surgical mask, and as we can see on here, it is hovering just above the 0. Next up, our friend the KN95. Good efforts. Once again, remember it needs to be at 100 to pass. So fairly similar to the surgical mask. We'll call that 5. So next up, we have one of these kind of, what I would say is more of a mid-range, if not a higher range, commuter type mask with some filtration in. Let's see how we get on with this. So here we see there's a definite improvement on the last two. Okay, so next up, fairly freely available FFP2 with straps and no exhalation valve. And okay, so next up we have a fold flat FFP2. Somewhat better than we've looked at. Still not 100. Okay, so we now got a fairly reasonable FFP3 cupped shaped respirator. Okay, so slightly better than the FFP2, but still not reaching. Oh, yeah, it did. But still not reaching 100. Okay, next up, one of these fairly typical 28-day masks, as they're called. So how we got with this. So there we go with this one. Line it. Last up we have the Sunstream, which as you can see has a slightly different fitting on it. Because we don't probe it, we have a special fitting as we do with all reusable masks. All manufacturers have those. Here we are back again in my kitchen. Oh, I nicked myself there, look. Just to show you that I am freshly, cleanly shaven. I'm not very good at shaving. There you go. So we're going to go back through that same process again now that I'm clean shaven with all the various different masks. So let's just tighten it up a little bit, make it fair. And let's see how we're doing. So how are we doing? Well, if you remember when I was stubbly, it was sitting just above 0. And now that I'm clean shaven, it's sitting slightly above 0. So anybody that's telling you, or if you're telling yourself, or others, even worse, that a surgical mask will protect the wearer, the answer is no, it won't at all. In actual fact, when we look at this in real time, I didn't show you this before, but we'll look at it now. As you can see, the fit factor, the actual full number, is coming up there. So remember, that needs to be at 100, and it's somewhere around the 2 mark. That bottom number there too should be at least at 100. That's going on there. Let's move on. Okay, so we're back once again with the KN95. Oh. And how are we sitting? Well, if we remember last time round, the KN95 was just above 0. And I have facial hair, similar to the surgical mask. Let's go back up there again. And just like that surgical mask, we now have a fit factor around about 200. So now we're back with our commuter mask, and again another one of these masks with ear loops. Works really well for me, even with my big elephant ears and my big old moon face. This is the largest size that they do, by the way, as well. Okay, so there we are again. And a fairly standard fit factor there, fairly stable, around about the 10 mark. Just zooming down there so you can see that, sitting there and there, and fit factor up there. Most of the manufacturers of these types of masks will claim that they are as good as an FFP2. So let's put that to the test. FFP2s, this is the cup shape without exhalation valve and with the proper head straps. Let's see how we get with this. I'm not holding out any high hopes for this. I can feel the air coming out into my eyes, so I know this mask is leaking. And by the way, it's a really good test if you can feel the air coming out the top of the mask into your eyes. It's leaking, it's not supposed to. And there we see that fit factor slightly below 10. Remember, must be at 100. So here we have this FFP2 fold flat. Let's see how we do with this. Okay. So here's our FFP2. Sitting just about, or just above the pass mark, around about 100. So now we're back to our cup shape FFP3. Let's see how we do with this one. Okay, so now having had that shave, and a somewhat better quality FFP3. We're now fairly consistently above that 100 level. Fit factors, most face fit testers will tell you, who I'm sure recognise either this mask or style of mask. That's a fairly typical fit factor that you can get for this product. Probably, we'll call it 400 as an average. I think that would probably come out to around about that mark. Let's back once again to our 28-day mask, what I call a 28-day mask, because these have been specifically manufactured so you can use them for a maximum, note that term, that maximum of 28 days, and then you have to throw them away because you cannot maintain them. But look at how it goes too. We'll let that settle down. It's probably settling down around that 300 or 400 mark, but of course, as we said, it's above 100. So that'll maintain a pass. So once again, we're back to the central mask. In this instance, it's the SR900 I'm using here. Probably, it's very typically when I do a face fit test, plastic fracture on this mask comes out to around about 20,000. So I come out in the garden after a long day of filming myself with masks on my face and various different ones, and what I hope that this video will show you is the differences between you being clean shaven and having facial hair, and how that facial hair affects the fit of a mask, and consequently the level of protection that you're getting. I was also showing you that those cheaper, poor quality, what are really face coverings, are not suitable in terms of RPE, and not suitable to protect you, especially those fold flat KN95 or FFP2 type masks with ear loops, which I'm sorry to say are readily available in most retail outlets. They're simply not good enough, and they will not protect your long-term lung health. I can't tell you what to do, and I'm sure that some of you out there will be saying, yeah, but they're better than nothing. And if you feel that way, then you come do a job for me, and I'll give you £2 for every 100 that you're expecting, and tell you that it's better than nothing, because that's what we're looking at here in terms of the level of protection that they've given you. But as I say, I can't tell you what to do. As some of you might have looked at this video and it might have chimed with you, and you might have thought, well, you know, I wish I could show something like that to my staff. We can. Just get in contact with us. We'd be really happy if, you know, if you've got a reasonable size site, we'd be really happy to come in, set up, and show your staff the differences between the levels of protection they'll be getting when they're clean shaven or when they have facial hair. And of course, always happy to show suitable alternatives that mean they don't have to shave and they can still have facial hair, which means that they'd be using a powered respirator. So I'm going to sign off now, because I have got 2 little puppy dogs here who want my attention. So I'm going to go and enjoy my weekend with them. You enjoy your weekend with your families, and have a think about whether you want to really protect your lung health and still be able to run around and play with your grandkids when you're in your 40s and your 50s without being out of breath. And if you do, and if you're working in an environment where it's dusty and you need respiratory protective equipment, then please do your lungs justice, and please choose a suitable respirator that will protect them. Ideally that would be Sundstrom, because as I always say, that's the choice your lungs would make. Thank you very much.